Welcome. Today we're going to dissect the personality type that builds empires and leads the charge, the Thinking Extrovert, or TEE. We're going to do a deep dive into the mind of a natural-born commander, so let's get right into it.
Just think for a second. Who's that person in your life who just instinctively takes charge? You know, the one who organizes everything and has this laser-like focus on the goal? That's the exact energy we're breaking down today. You might recognize a friend, a coworker, or hey, maybe even yourself.
So what exactly is a T? Well, it's a personality built on a foundation of logical intelligence. That's the thinking part. Now, the extrovert part means that their whole logical process is fueled by the outside world. They pull in information and motivation from their environment to make their calls.
Okay, so according to the theory behind this personality type, the T operating system is conceptualized as being in the gray matter of the left brain. And look, this isn't literal neuroscience, all right? It's more of a metaphor to explain how they process the world. It means they get their energy from external input, data, people, events, which makes them incredibly adaptive.
Every commander has an operational DNA. For a T, this shows up as 10 permanent traits. We're not talking about temporary moods here. This is the very foundation of who they are, something that doesn't change over time.
Let's break down the first 5. Thoughtful and analytical point to their need to process everything logically. Competitive, that's their drive to win, plain and simple. Now, reserved might seem surprising for an extrovert, but it's really about focus, not shyness. And planner, well, that's their signature move, always strategizing the path to victory.
The next 5 traits really complete the picture. They're positive, believing there's always a solution to be found. Argumentative, but in a logical debate club kind of way. Forceful when it comes to pushing their plans forward. Formal because they prefer structure and rules. And finally, a core belief in justice, which ensures they stay objective in their decisions.
But being a commander isn't so simple. The TE personality is actually full of paradoxes, a constant internal battle between their greatest strengths and their built-in limitations. Let's take a look at how this plays out.
So here's the first major paradox. On one hand, they have the heart of a conqueror, absolutely driven to win. But on the other hand, they can lack the stamina for a long, drawn-out fight. They are fiercely independent, trusting only their own experiences, but this also makes them resistant to valuable advice from others.
And this leads us to another conflict. They are master tacticians, brilliant at securing short-term wins. But this focus can make them struggle with long-term strategic priorities. They can manage any team effectively, but they often fail to read the underlying motivations and aspirations of the very people they're leading.
So, what's the big takeaway from all these paradoxes? For Atanopoles, growth isn't about fixing weaknesses. It's about doubling down on their strengths. By exploiting what they're good at, planning, analyzing, and executing, their inherent weaknesses naturally become less and less relevant. Okay, now let's talk about superpowers. For the Taru, it all comes down to 2 things: pure, undeniable logic, and a gift for what you could call brutally effective management. Their main advantage is what this source material calls LQ, or logical quotient. Think of it this way: if IQ measures raw intelligence, LQ measures the ability to apply broad, logical reasoning to complex systems. It's not just about being smart, it's about being strategically smart, especially when it comes to management.
This is their core power right here. While other people might get lost in the details or emotions, the TE has this unmatched ability to reason across complex systems, allowing them to maintain effective control and steer the ship no matter how big it gets.
So how do they put this into practice? Through a powerful 3-step process. First, they see an organization as a machine, a factory or an army, where their authority is absolute. Second, they control every part of that machine for maximum productivity. The end goal? To multiply and accumulate results, relentlessly.
All of these traits, paradoxes, and superpowers are driving them toward one single ultimate goal. This is the core motivation that explains pretty much everything about a thinking extrovert.
And there it is, stated as plainly as can be. The ultimate target for a T isn't just to lead, it's to gain complete, unquestioned authority. They feel incredibly uncomfortable, even paralyzed if they can't make the final call. Power isn't a want, it's a need for them to operate effectively.
This drive for authority is just hardwired into their personality. Their natural role is the commander, the chief. Their key power is effective managerialship. Their innate trait is a deep-seated thirst for power, and they feel they deserve it because of their core character: fair, objective, and logical.
And here is the final piece of the puzzle. For a Tekka, there's a direct line between the scale of their responsibility and the scale of their power. The bigger the factory they command, the bigger their throne. They are constantly driven to build bigger, more efficient systems, because that's how they achieve greater authority. Which leaves us with one final thought. The T profile is that of a powerful, logical, and ambitious leader. So the question is, as you go through life, do you find yourself following a commander like this? Or, after hearing all of this, are you realizing that maybe you're the one who is born to sit on that throne?